Alright, so now that my Jeep is properly drenched in mud, let's take a look at some of these side-by-side shots. Now let's state the obvious, the green from the red is super saturated compared to the Blackmagic. The Blackmagic looks a little bit more mellow and a little more to the warmer yellowish side when we're looking at the green. But considering all the settings are matched, it's crazy how different the grass looks. And I would actually say the red looks a little bit more accurate because this is after like 6 days of non-stop rain. And it's the greenest I've ever seen Los Angeles. When we got there, I was like, holy crap, this looks. Here's a shot of Carrie getting hit by direct sunlight, but this is the default look out of both cameras right now. We are gonna circle back and try color grading these manually. And here's one more shot where I was trying to talk to the camera, but I didn't make any sense, so I'm just gonna mute the audio and voice over it. But you can see the sensor size difference here for sure. They're both on the same f-stop, but the background's a little bit blurrier on the red. But to be honest, the difference between the sensor size here, Super 35 and Micro Four Thirds, it's not as drastic as I thought it would be in terms of depth of field. And now we got PETA in the studio, and that's one of the beauties of studio lighting, is that pretty much all cameras look good in the studio, but we can kind of pick up some minute differences here. The shadows definitely come across a little bit more contrasty on the red, which is something that red's been known for. It kind of gives it that moody look. And yeah, there's PETA being a supermodel as usual. She's a great model, by the way. All the other dogs, I point a camera at them and they're like, get that away from my face. But PETA loves that attention, so that's why she's the superstar here. Luckily she's a dog, so I don't have to pay her. When it comes to super slow-mo, the red obviously has a lot more horsepower behind it, and the Blackmagic caps out at 120 frames per second in HD, and the Blackmagic's crop is pretty big, so it's not perfect, but it's nice to have. The red can do 120 frames per second pretty easily without much of opinion on what's usable. Dynamic range can vary, but the Blackmagic, holy crap, for a $1,300 camera, I can't think of any other camera in this price range that look this nice, so I'm impressed. Now by default, the Blackmagic does apply a magenta tint when you put it in the daylight white balance, so I thought that might be countering the green, but I took off the tint and still the green just looks so much more vibrant on the red. But I do know that the green spectrum is one of the more complicated colors for a camera sensor to see. I remember when Canon released the C300, the engineers were putting a lot of emphasis on getting the green colors correctly because our eyes, but as we get into low light territory at 6400 ISO, the Blackmagic is surprisingly cleaner and has less noise than the red. And as we step into the super low light territory, 12,800, the Blackmagic definitely outperforms the red. But keep in mind, the red does have the gel. Alright, so you guys are familiar with my traditional ADD setup, and here's how it would look if I were to switch to the red and the Blackmagic. I don't know, should I shoot all my videos on one of these cameras? I don't know, that'd be a lot of data to manage, but could be really cool. Putting the Blackmagic up to the red, I definitely feel like the red is easier to grade just right off the bat. It could be because I'm so used to color grading red footage. With the proper settings and lighting, you can really just get the red to look really amazing just right out of the camera. Blackmagic, I felt